Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to Agora Singapore Speakers Club. The program for tonight is we start with a round of what you call that? Impromptu speeches, hot topics.
Yeah.
I will present the hot topics and then I'll invite each of you to speak on it, right? And at 8 o'clock, we have a special presentation on leadership and EQ by Dunstan, and that will take us to 9 o'clock. Then we have another round of question and answers, and we will end at 9:30. Now, let me start. We start with, if you can, each of you, Angela, Sylvia, and Wei Jing, please switch on your camera. Susan, the hot topic is leadership. Are leaders born with leadership qualities, or can anybody be trained to be a leader? 2 minutes, Susan, starting from now.
I see. So I have to speak, is it?
Yes, everybody has to speak.
Okay. Are leaders born or are they trained? This is my personal opinion. I believe that some people are born with leadership qualities, and I can share this is that sometimes when in my corporate life, when we are working in a team, there will be one person that will immediately take over and start to organize things and control and direct things. So this kind of leadership comes very naturally to this kind of people. They just generally nobody appoint them, nobody say anything, but they just take over and they start to direct the situation. So in that sense, we can see that certain people are born with leadership inborn, so that they can just jump into a situation and take control. However, when we study, when we are in school, we always have to learn what are the leadership qualities, what are how we can grow into a leadership role, especially if you are being groomed for promotion, bigger role in the company. You go for this kind of training, and they will teach you you need communication skills, you need empathy, you need to think forward, you need to this and that. So there are certain traits that leaders have. So you kind of learn. So that it is both. I would say that it's both. Can be cultivated, but I think there are some spark of leadership that some people already have. So that's what I think.
Thank you. Good? Very good. You did it in 1 minute, 40 seconds.
Because one thing bluffed me into attending and say don't have to do anything.
I'm an honest liar, so it's all right. Okay, now we ask Shauna, leadership, the same topic. Are leaders born leaders, or can anyone be trained to be a leader? Shauna, please.
Again, personally, I feel that people become leaders probably because of circumstances, or that's because they feel strongly about something and then they act based on that. And I feel that's how leaders are born, one of the ways. And when they do that, with all the qualities that Dunstan mentioned earlier, people come to appreciate them and admire them and support them in what they believe. And that's how leaders are born. As we can see with Lee Kuan Yew or even Mahatma Gandhi for India. Actually, especially for Mahatma Gandhi, I know a little bit more, in the sense, I know he was, wasn't that good a communicator to begin with, but he learned all that because he believed in certain things and he wanted to work for the people, and people saw and believed in him, and that's how he became a leader. So that's my personal belief. Yes.
Thank
you.
you, Shauna. 1 minute, 15 seconds. Can you summarize the question in a yes or no? Are leaders born or can leaders
Yes.
be trained?
I think leaders can be trained. Yes, people can be trained to become leaders. And usually it's, as Susan also said, there's a spark in them already. And then that just training helps them to become leaders.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Wei Chin. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm in Singapore, but originally I'm from Malaysia. Invited by Chin Ho.
Oh, Ki Chin Ho.
Hello,
Oh.
Susan.
Hi,
Oh,
Ching.
you know each
Good to see
other.
you. Surprise to meet each other online.
Yeah, I saw your name. I
Agora.
wasn't sure whether it was you.
Okay.
Yeah, I will have to switch to my laptop because the mobile phone setting I'm not familiar with. I couldn't turn on videos. Not sure where is the button. Yeah.
Okay, Wei Chin, can you give me your handphone number so that I can invite you by WhatsApp in future?
9658
9658
3910.
3910 Lee Wei Chin.
Yes.
Lee. How do you know Chin Ho?
We joined the Toastmaster Club before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Toastmasters member. All right.
Yeah.
So are you with his church Toastmasters Club?
Yes. Not the so we have this Christianity based club.
Okay. Now as a Christian, I will ask you leadership question, the same question as I posed to Shauna and Susan. Leaders, are they people born to be leaders and they lead, or are there people who are born without leadership ability and they can be trained to be leaders?
For me, I think leaders are made instead of born. If it's born, it's also because the leader was born in a family that want he or she to be a leader. So there's no leader by accident. It's going through a process of finding what is the purpose of your life and you want to serve or you want to change, or even in some situation, the person may force to be in that position to lead as like there's nobody else and the job have to be done by someone. So it's not all times like there is everybody become a leader with a different journey, but along the journey the person pick up different skill set, different responsibility and decision making to lead the group and to do the job. So in short, I will say leader is made rather than is born.
Okay, thank you. The whole of almost 2 minutes, no, not 2 minutes, slightly below 2 minutes. Very well done. In 2 minutes, you're able to present your opinion. And basically, I understand from you is circumstances will make the person a leader. You are forced to be a leader due to circumstances, right? Okay, that's a very good summary. Thank you very much. James, are you ready? James.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Tell me,
Yeah.
are leaders
Yes.
born or are leaders made?
For me, I feel that leaders, 20 to 30% they are born, 30 to 80% they are made. Because I don't know that when I was young, I see a lot of like when I was in primary school, I see like some of my friends, they become prefects, they become monitor. I see that most of them are born. But as I go older, I see a lot of my friends who are low profile in their younger days, they slowly take up more and more leadership roles. Okay, starting they were not like that, but they slowly learn and go to be leaders. So they, of course, not just leadership, anything like any skill. I believe like if you have the flair for something, it's easier for you to pick up and develop and go from there. If you don't have the natural ability, the flair for something, you can always nurture it. For me, since I'm very scared of being a leader. But over the years, especially when I went to army, uni, then I started to take up more and more leadership roles. I look back, I regretted not taking more leadership roles during my younger days. Then if I've done so, when I go older, it will be much easier. But it was never too late. Here and there, I tried to be outspoken, try to lead people, try to demonstrate my management skills. Although I still feel that because of my upbringing is still very lacking. I'm still don't have a lot of qualities of a leader. And in the workplace, I need to demonstrate my competent enough to pick up leadership roles. But basically, for me, my benchmark for a good leader is you just ask yourself 3 questions. As a leader, when you ask your subordinate to do things, will they listen to you? Second, when your subordinates do things for you, do they feel appreciated? Okay. Thirdly, when things go wrong, do you claim responsibility or do you go around pushing your blame to other people? You can satisfy these 3 criteria, I would say you're a very good leader. Yeah. So yeah, so I would say leadership is only a small degree is made. It's born, but a lot of it is still nurtured along the years. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, James. You are amazing. You know why? You are the only one so far who can tell me only 20% of people are born leaders. 80% are trained and are nurtured to be leaders. So I think there's something unique. Okay, thank you very much, James. Mike, leadership. What is your view? Hi, Fabiana. Are you in Argentina?
My view on leadership is that it's really luck and being able to take the opportunities when they arrive, not being scared, having the self-confidence to say yes and try. And you learn on the job. I think most leadership is learned on the job. And this is historically how it has happened in prehistory, where people were hunter-gatherers, they were farmers, whatever. Yeah, there was no manual at that time. And I think people just learned by doing, watching others, mimicking as the animal kingdom does to learn. And human beings are the same. Personally, myself, I was an introvert as a kid. When I lived in Singapore, believe it or not, I was an introvert. And then when I got to university, I was still sort of an introvert, but I was teaching scuba diving because of the Seven Sister Island experience in Singapore. And then I became president of the union. I totally changed by pressure. Yeah, I had 35 staff, large budget, 2 union buildings, and no experience whatsoever. I was 21-year-old, plumped into this sabbatical job. I was given a small amount of money to do the job. No training. Nobody really had any idea what I should be doing. So you just learn by doing. And it was a fun period. It was hard work, yeah. It was scary, yeah. But at the end of it, after 1 year of immersion, yeah, I totally changed. And that made me who I am today. So yeah, I think leaders are not necessarily born, but I think the ability to be a leader is obviously born. Yeah, I think you need to have the confidence to take the opportunity. So that is something that in a way is born rather than learned. But it's fun. My opportunities, I recommend all of you follow suit. Just go do it. As Nike said, don't wait, go do it. Back to you,
Okay.
Van Peng.
Thank you, Mike. Just do it. Be a leader. Learn along the way. Bienvenido, Fabiana. ¿Te gustaría hablar?
Thank you. It's early in the morning here.
How early is a question we should all ask.
8 a.m. in Argentina.
Yes, Argentina.
Yeah,
How early in the morning?
8 o'clock in the morning, the land of football. That's where Argentina is where Diego Maradona come from.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Argentina soccer. Fabiana,
Yeah.
tell us about your view on leadership. Maybe I change a little bit. Yeah. What are the qualities of a good leader?
Qualities.
Yeah.
Me va a costar decirlo en inglés.
I am in trouble. Okay.
I think that a good leader is a person confident, serious, encourage. I don't know. I really not prepared for this.
You can speak in Spanish, it's okay.
Bueno, si lo puedo decir en español, un buen líder tiene que ser una persona muy confiable, seria, que las personas tomen su ejemplo, su camino, su experiencia y lo puedan continuar. Tiene que ser, por supuesto, amable, pero a la vez recta. No es fácil ser un buen líder. Mucha gente confunde el liderazgo con otro tipo de decir es una persona muy seria o es demasiado estricto, y un buen líder también tiene que dar un espacio para que sus seguidores o los camaradas puedan desarrollarse como buenas personas.
Excelente.
Translate that for us.
Gracias, my friend.
Sí, gracias.
Thank you. Now I will invite Mike Nicholson to translate that to English for us. Mike is trying. I think he disappeared.
I'm just looking at the names on the screen. I can't read. Don't worry.
I can read Fabiana Paluccini. Sounds like an Italian name, not a Spanish name, right?
Spanish, yeah.
Okay, maybe
Portuguese.
Silvio Wong will help us interpret.
Hello.
Hello,
Yes.
Sylvia.
Hi, Happy New Year, first of all.
Oh, Happy New Year, Happy New Year,
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I'm so glad that to be able to join again after so many years disappear.
I know you were busy
Yes.
doing the Lord's work, right? You were very
So
busy with your church activity.
yeah. But
Mm.
anyway, new year, new start, new hope, new chapter. Thank you for inviting me, Bang. You have been so motivating. Each time you never give me up. Yeah, so I really appreciate our friendship.
Thank
Well,
you.
I don't really know. Just now when I joined it already halfway, but from what Fabiana say in Spanish, I don't really understand. Only one I catch. Camarada, what I know, yeah, that is love. The rest, sorry, I cannot translate. But anyway, I know she talk a lot. I feel I just only catch one word only because I don't learn Spanish.
Spanish is one of the most widely spoken language.
Yeah, so
Uh,
probably next time we should learn. Yeah.
My son is learning. I think
Oh yeah. Oh.
he's trying very hard because it's either English, Chinese,
Okay.
Hindi, or Spanish. I think one of these
Wow.
are one of the top languages. So you must learn.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
So is that correct? There's one word about love. I don't know. I just heard about it.
I know amiga is the
Amiga.
lady friend.
Oh,
Right.
okay, yeah.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that's what you asked me or what about the
No.
translation? Sorry. Okay. So you
can
want to
tell.
ask me
No,
about the quality of a good leader, you mean?
okay, quality. Okay, if you look at Jesus Christ as a
Oh, okay.
leader, what is
Yes.
this special leadership quality of this man called Jesus Christ?
Oh, first, he is very loving, caring, and then also humble, and
No.
then sincere, always serve. Yeah, serve. So as a leader, the most important thing that Jesus showed us is love and also humble. He wants to serve for his disciples. So he showed that. So according to me, several good qualities of a leader is should be integrity, humble, sincere, loving, caring, motivating, and also how to say lead by example, walk the talk, talk the walk. Anyway, should have that can reunite the team. Yeah, let the people, the follower feel that the leaders are always there to support them. So whenever they have difficulties or problems, they don't worry because the leader is there to help them. That's my point of view. Thank you, Dunstan.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you.
So the leader has to be humble, has to be caring, has to be sincere, has to be honest. Okay, good
Yes.
qualities. I will invite Eric. Eric, where are you? Eric?
Hello.
Yeah.
Apologies, my camera.
I can see a very
see.
blur image of you.
Yeah, very
Okay,
blur.
Eric,
Yeah.
which part of Malaysia are you from?
From Kuching.
Kuching. Okay, Kuching. Do you have very good leaders in Malaysia?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
In any way in the world, they're bound to be good and bad. It's always,
Okay.
always a dualism there.
Okay. Think of one good leader you admire from your home country, and tell us what made him a leader to be admired.
Oh, okay. The person that I really admire till today is my boss. Okay. His name is Philip Ling, and he is also a recipient of what you call Hall of Fame in Hong Kong. Yeah. So what I admire about him is his philosophy is about truth. Forget about humanity. Forget about just forget about humanity and realizing that your thoughts is just a false imagination, Yeah, your mind projection is a false imagination of your thoughts in your mind, things like that. So his leadership is based on how would I say? It's not about. People used to point fingers, shifting all the blames to others, pointing fingers to others. But to him is about no I, no me, no mine.
Okay.
These are the things, okay? Take full responsibility, have compassionate, have empathy, and things like that. So be a responsible person. If you make, if you make the decision that is wrong, take responsibility, accept it, and be truthful and admit it, and don't hit around the bush, things like that. So these are because his philosophy is based on 5,000 years because of Confucius, Lao Tzu. From there, slowly, I picked some. It's not that easy. So I picked some of his philosophy. Just one. To be a good leader, one thing is what? Speak a lot, say nothing.
What do you mean speak a lot, say nothing? To be a good leader.
Meaning to say that be a good listener.
Oh, okay. I agree absolutely. I think if a person don't listen, it's very hard to lead. Doesn't know what the people want.
You have to, before you want to say something, let that person say something. Understand what he wants and understand where he wants to go. All his sense of direction, all his sense of belonging, things like that, and his sense of purpose as well. Like Simon Sinek says, to be a leader, you must have your own self-realization of why. Without your why, forget about what, how, when. That is secondary. Primarily is your why. If you do not have a why, forget about becoming a leadership. That's all.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
So your boss, Mr. Ling, has influenced you tremendously, learning all the way 5,000 years to Confucius.
Yes. Most important thing is don't harm. Be compassionate.
Compassionate.
No harming. No harming.
Very Buddhist. Your thinking is very Buddhist, right?
Actually it is.
Eric,
actually it is.
Can you give me your handphone number? Then next time I invite you by WhatsApp directly.
019
019
6019
and then
818
818
4338.
4338. Okay. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah,
Fabian,
I was invited by Dunstan.
Yeah, he told me he'll be inviting some friends. So Fabiana, can you understand what Eric just said? See.
Yes.
Okay, very good. I'm glad because none of the people here are Spanish speaking, so you have to learn the Singapore style of English and the Malaysia style of English, as well as the Indonesian style of English. We all speak English, but in very different way. We have. Okay, now I'll ask a question. Then I'll go to Susan first. Susan, leadership. What is the job of a leader? You got to unmute first, Susan. You need to unmute.
Okay, the job of a leader is basically to lead the team. Usually a team or your family or an organization, to set the direction and the goals and lead them there. So I can see some leaders, they do it by force. Some leaders inspire. Some leaders encourage. So the different traits of a leader, but it also not each method is correct or not correct, because it depends on the situation and the team that you are leading. So if you are going to war, then you cannot have a democratic leader that asks everybody's opinion. You just have to make the decision and lead people to war. So every situation is different and calls for different styles of leadership.
Okay. Actually, Susan,
Yes.
I asked you to talk about what is the job of the leader.
Yes.
Then you tell me something else. Do you notice that?
No, I told you about leaders to direct, to lead the team.
Yeah.
That's their job. But how they accomplish the job is by force, by inspiration, or what. So it's what you do and how you do it.
Okay.
Because you need to accomplish the objective. So it depends on the situation.
Okay. So the leader's role is to make sure the team achieve their objective.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if there's thank you, Susan. Let us see whether other people got different idea. What is the job of the leader? Okay. Wei Jing, what is the job of a leader?
I want to try to talk about it something different. It's
Okay.
like leader job is to carry the blame. I guess
like that. I like that.
we are so used to putting leader on top and ask the leader to show us the direction so that we follow. Since leader is the person who show the direction, if the direction is wrong, why can't we blame the leader?
Okay.
I would say that leader job is to have the responsibility to face the to control the damage, to understand, to bear the consequences of bad decisions. That will be something that maybe some of the leadership framework and textbook seldom talk about. So I will wish a good leader is someone who are ready to do this. I only use up 1 minute, right? And I remember one of the then I want to change to another perspective or ideas. It's like I remember someone told me something like this. It's like a good leader is a person who built a system that do not need a leader.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we need a system to do the job, to get everybody know what to do, how to get it. So the moment the system is working, we don't need a leader. So is there a leader who dare enough to make these visions, create a system that it can run itself, sustainable, and the system do not need you? Yeah. There's something different to ponder about.
Okay. Thank you. That is something else, right? Now I give you a challenge, Sylvia.
Yes.
Okay, Susan said a leader's job is to get the people to where they are supposed to be. Wei Jing say leader's job is to take the blame for any failure. And not only that, they have to design a system where they are not required. Okay, now tell me who is right, who is wrong.
I think combination. So it depends on the situation. So I always like the situational leadership. So it depends because leadership is an art. There's no rule about it. So it depends on what occasion and then who are our team and what are the goals that we are going to achieve. So it really depends. So when we have to really if we are to be blamed, then we have to say sorry and we can accept it and we do the right things together. But anyway, I think as a leader, the most important thing must have vision and mission, what to do, what to achieve in the long run. And then for every daily things that, of course, we have to create system. It's important. But besides system, people also need touching. So as a leader, always be there also. Thank you.
Thank you. So leaders' responsibility is circumstantial, right? Depend on the situation.
Yes.
Okay. Now I will go to Shauna. Leaders, should they be in front or should they be behind the team they are leading? Do you lead from the front or lead from behind? Which is a leadership role?
I think that again depends on what they're doing, what the leader's goal is. Whether
Okay.
he's leading and trying to achieve something and wants to lead his team, guide them, then probably he may have to be in front. Or if he's doing a supporting role and a role where he's serving, and I think then he will take a back seat. So it depends on what he wants to achieve.
Okay,
What
give
his goal is.
example. Give an example.
I think like for in India's case, for example, Mahatma Gandhi's case or Lee Kuan Yew, for example, they took the leadership role where they were leading from the front. There were a group of people following them who agreed with their principles and principles. So, and for somebody who led from the back was probably Jesus Christ, and so that's all I can think of at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bante.
Now I'll come to Ita. Apa kabar, Ita? Selamat datang.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Banteng. How are you all? Thank you.
Very
I'm good.
good.
How about you all?
Okay, I will ask you a question on leadership.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the question, Mr. Banteng. In my opinion, leadership is base structure in maybe I don't have any experience. I mean, both all of you here are have a lot of experience as a leader, but for me in my daily activity, because I have to be role model for my students, so the most important as a leadership we can to be as a good example. The basics roles as the leader become a example. For example, simple in my habit, I have to be good attitude, I have to be good in my speech, I have to be good in my appearance, so the environment near me can follow me, because leadership is about trust. That's in my opinion, Mr. Banteng. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So leadership is about trust. It's about people believing you, people wanting to follow you. Okay, very good, very good. I like that. Fabiana, leadership. Do you have to be very clever to be a leader?
Paso.
Pass. Okay, we will ask the very wise man. Wise, don't know wise or not, but old man. His name is Mike Nicholson. Mike, does a person have to be very clever to be a leader?
I think probably not. I think they're probably very stupid because they didn't manage to come up with an excuse quick enough not to be the leader. No, I think, again, leadership is one of those things, yeah, for people that do it and enjoy it, it is really exciting, yeah, so they love to do it. People who are not born leaders and fight it because they don't have the self-confidence yet to take it on, yeah, may not be enjoying it. But it certainly does help. Yeah, I think if you're intelligent, because you're representing your team, your group, and you need to plan what's happening with your group. Yeah, so you're being the leader, you are going to take them into maybe dangerous territory and get them involved in dubious activities. So you need to know what you're doing. So being able is a good plus. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Mike. So a leader has to be clever as well. And stupid enough to take up the role, but clever enough to help the people.
Clever
Eric,
enough to survive.
Eric, ask you the leadership question.
Yeah.
Okay, a leader has to be honest, and a leader has to be dishonest. True or false?
Honest and dishonest.
He must tell the truth, and he must also know how to tell a lie. True or false?
For me, it's false.
False. Okay, explain.
Well, put it this way: if it's truth, it's truth. If it's not truth, how to tell the? Not to tell the. Not to tell it. You just have to use the words right. I mean, the choice of words to use. It's just like if let's say put it this way: if you are not doing well, you're not doing right, you cannot just go there and bombard that person. Well, you have to just encourage him. Yeah. What you're doing now, there's room for improvement, things like that. No, so it's what we call a sandwich method. Now, normally sandwich is bread, meat, and bread. So you put another one with some meat, bread, meat. So things like that. So you do encouragement. You cannot condemn a person. Encourage, support, and give them room for improvement. Suggest a way, and then they will think out of the box or things like that, and then we'll go ahead.
Okay.
So that's what I normally do lah. Okay.
Okay, so what you're saying is leaders must be honest. They must not tell lie, right? They must encourage, support. Okay. Anybody has a different view that leaders must also learn how to tell lies? Anyone? Or you all agree with Eric that leaders must always be honest? Okay, Fabiana first. Then Susan. Fabiana, unmute yourself.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, leaders have to be honest. That's what Eric said. I'm saying that leaders must also learn how to be very good at being dishonest, telling lies, for example, or cheating.
Yes. Yeah, I think that a good leader, first, he or she has to be a good leader. And one of these, the honest is one of the most abilities of person in the relationships and with himself. The honest for not lying to himself and the people who is liderando.
It's okay, carry on. No, you're muted already. You're muted. Fabiana.
I'm coughing.
Okay. Okay. I think we let Susan speak first. Then when you finish your coffee, you can come back to finish. Susan, please.
Okay, so the question is, the leader has always to tell the truth, but is there a situation where the leader is not telling the truth? My perspective is that if you are a leader, the integrity part is very important, but the communication is whether you want to tell the truth or you want to cover up the truth is the way you communicate. So example, if you are in a war, you have to make sure that the information you have is protected. Therefore, you do not want to tell the truth to your enemies because that will put you in a vulnerable position. So in that situation, you never tell the truth to enemies because you are protecting your team and your country or your army. So the leader must have the discernment and the discretion to be able to know when you can reveal and when you need to conceal the information that you have. So, example, Singapore has a national reserve. We never know how much our national reserve is because people always say, oh, Singapore very rich, got a lot of national reserve and so on. But why we never tell is because if you want to tell them exactly how much you are exposing yourself to being attacked, to being manipulated by people who wants to do you harm. So in that sense, you're not telling a lie, but you don't want to tell the truth.
So you cannot tell a lie, but you also don't need to tell the truth. Okay. How many of you have heard of this name called Sun Tzu? Sun Tzu wrote a very famous book called Art of War. Right. One of the strategies he discussed is when you are weak, you pretend to be strong. And when you are strong, you pretend to be weak. Right. So that your opponent doesn't know your true position, for example, right? So that means the leader has to tell his people how to tell lies or how to deceive or mislead people. So that is one of the important leadership quality, how to deceive and mislead. Maybe later Dunstan will give you a better explanation, but that is something I pick up. I may be wrong though. Okay. Now is 1 minute to 8 o'clock. Dunstan, welcome. Are you ready?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Dunstan.
Oh, that's good. You cannot
Okay.
see me, right? Wait a minute.
We cannot see you. Okay.
Start video. Okay.
Okay, now if
Since you're
you're
on Sun Tzu, can I ask you to look for something while I'm talking later on?
okay.
I think Sun Tzu has a quote called "Master yourself," something like that, isn't it?
Know your enemy and know yourself. Is that the one?
Know your.
Know your
Is there one on "Master yourself"?
Yeah, that one is actually about know your enemy, know yourself. It's about mastering yourself. Then
Mastering yourself. Okay.
a hundred battles, 100 victories. That's the
Yes.
one, right?
Okay, I got that. Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Okay.
Shall we start?
Okay, just give me a second. I want to formally introduce you because there's quite a few new faces as far away as Argentina, Indonesia, India, and of course, Malaysia. If you can, ladies and gentlemen, please have your video on so that Dunstan know that you are listening, not sleeping while he's talking, okay? I can see who is Fiola, Sister Rani. Oh, there's still people coming. I think must be Fabiana, your friends. Are they your friends?
No.
Felice, Faustin, Fiona. These are new people. Okay, I think we give them maybe another few minutes Okay, anyway, I will introduce the next part of the program. In another minute or so, we will have a special presentation, leadership and applied emotional intelligence. Okay, this is going to be about an hour, inclusive of a question and answer. And who is going to speak on this leadership and emotional intelligence is none other than Mr. Dunstan Chan. And okay, now some of you have not met Dunstan. I met him, I think about 30 years ago when I first joined Toastmasters, and he was my leader. Yeah, and he is not only a leader in his own club, he's a leader in Toastmasters for the whole of Southeast Asia at that time, including Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, I don't know where else, but it's a pan Southeast Asia, right? He is also a championship speaker who has won many championship awards, not only in his club, in Southeast Asia as well, in the pan Southeast Asia region. He's a champion speaker in not only in one championship, in multiple contests over multiple years. And he's a platform speaker, he's a trainer, he's a coach, he's a mentor to many other speakers. That is Dunstan Chan. What else do I know about Dunstan? He's a lawyer, trained and worked in United Kingdom. Now he's residing in Malaysia, Kuching. Dunstan is also a writer. He writes books. He wrote many books, I think published at least 6 books, if I remember correctly. And these books are not published alone. They are also sold. They are also read and cited by people. He also wrote more than 500 newspaper articles, weekly articles over the years. I think some of you, Susan Wong, saw his article, right, about the poppy, right? So because of that, you're very curious. You want to see Dunstan. Now you see him. Okay. What else does Dunstan do? Dunstan deal with something also very serious thing, which is scuba diving. He teaches scuba diving. He takes people out to scuba dive. And why is that very important thing? Because he knows about danger. He knows a small mistake can lead to a life and death situation. So he's a very careful guy who does serious matters. What else does Dunstan do? Dunstan is not just a leader in his home or leader in Toastmasters. He's a leader in many non-government organizations, NGOs. And this is not NGOs in his hometown alone. It's an NGO global kind of activity. Too many for me to tell you. Maybe along the way, Dunstan will share with you on his experience in the leadership and his observations. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you now Mr. Dunstan Chan.
Hi. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you. We're going to do a kind of a 1-hour session, yes, true, and go through it pretty quickly. And at the end of it, you have to do some work in the sense that I will show you a video which you can watch, all right? And then I want you to give a comment on the video and can lead up to our Q&A, question and answer section, right? So let me start. Let me share the screen of, where is it now? Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yes.
can hear, you can see, and all right, that's it.
Okay.
Okay, Ban Peng asked me to talk about the EQ, EI, IQ, all these things in relation to leadership. I think this is a very popular an important subject, I think, and we have not given enough importance. Maybe theoretically, some of us may have done so in the sense we have read a book by, what's his name now? What's his name? The guy who popularized this in the,
Oh,
what's his
EQ, is it Daniel Coleman?
Coleman, yes, the Coleman. And prior to that, of course, there were a lot of academic studies on it, but of course, academic studies tend to be very heavy and very dense, so difficult to follow. Daniel Goleman has popularized it in his book called EQ or EI, I think, call it. So, and I have gone through. I've been working with many voluntary organizations over the years, maybe as long as 40 years, and I find that one of the key important skills we have is to be able to understand our emotion and its impact on our people. Right? So that's what it is. All right. When we talk about EQ, obviously we also have to talk about the other Q, the IQ. So I go through it very quickly. IQ. Essentially, what is the IQ? Yeah. And we all know. I mean, we don't want to go into the psychology and the analysis on all these things. Very, very tedious and long. Essentially, IQ is the ability to solve problem and make decisions. That's what it is, right? In the sense that life, in fact, is just a series of problems and a series of situations where we have to make decisions. That's what our life is. We confront something, we must solve it. We must deal with it, and then we must make decision. That's what it is. So your IQ is your ability to be able to solve the problem or to make decision correctly in relation to your well-being and in relation to the well-being around you, right? I think we all know it, but let's not go into the scientific description of IQ, because it is very, very involved, and but enough to know that it is it. So I is your intelligence. So intelligence is the faculty which you have, which enable you to solve problems or make correct decisions. Right? That's what it is. Now the quotient is just a measurement, a degree of measurement, whether you have a high quotient or low quotient, right? Generally speaking, we put 100 when it's calibrated according to 1, 2, 3 up to 200 or whatever it is, right? Now we accept that an average decent person would be about 100, right? So if you are below that, you can still be, I mean, about 80 or 90 is still okay. But if you go below that, then of course it would have impact on your behavior as well, And if you have an IQ of 130, you are generally considered as a very clever and near genius already, and you go right up to genius, right? So you hear people like Einstein and Elon Musk and a lot of others, they're around about 130, 140, 150, 160, around that kind of a thing, right? And I expect most of us will be around 100 plus and minus 10 or 20 points. And I know that those of you who really want to pride yourself as being labeled as being very clever and very intelligent, you can join a club. Anybody know what's the name of that club? It's a worldwide club.
Mensa.
Yeah, Mensa. I know it's very popular with Singaporeans, right? Because I know quite a few of my friends make a specific point to join that, and you have to sit through some sort of a test, right? Mensa is the one. I think Mensa you have to be 100, and I cannot remember anyway. 120 or 100 something before you are considered intelligent enough to join that group. Right? Okay, so don't worry, we are okay. We are around that, right? And of course, if you are below 80 or 70, then of course you are what Chinese would say, tampok gong lah. That means you are not that smart, right? And I give you homework now. You can go and search later on. Someone can tell me in terms of hierarchy, right? a moron, an idiot, and an imbecile. Who has the lowest considered, right? Sometimes we hate somebody say, you're an idiot. Right? Sometimes we hate somebody call it, you are imbecile or you are moron, you know. So there are three, what term we call it, of saying bad things about other people. So you just find out which is their ranking, right? Quotient basically is a measure, right? A measure, quotient is a measure, I said that. So IQ means the measure of your intelligence level, right? So that's straightforward and no big deal. Let's go to this. This is what we are dealing with. EQ. For a long time, until the government made popular thing, a lot of us just stress on IQ, you know. And in fact, IQ at one point was used as a test for people to join the army or something like that, but so that they see that your level of mental power, so that they know where to assign you. You know, presumably that's what it is. But nobody ever thought about the EQ until Daniel Goleman wrote a book, and then we suddenly realized that he is saying something which is very powerful and more relevant than just understanding IQ, right? So let's go first. What is emotion? Right? What is an emotion? Well, basically, it's a strong feeling. That's what it is, right? Now, where do you get this strong feeling from? You know, feeling from, and it's derived from our circumstances we're in. You know, let's say you are in a very dark place and you're scared. Now, that is an emotion. A fear is an emotion, right? It just came out because of circumstances you're in, or your mood. In your happy mood, your emotion is happy, all right? And then also your relationship with others affect your emotion. And most of you have worked with voluntary organization and all that. You know, sometimes you really get very affected because of the behavior of our compatriot and all that. It affects you, right? So that is emotion. Now, quotient, of course, is the degree of measurement, right? Why it is important for us to talk about EQ, right, is this. Because emotion has impact on our performance, our behavior. And if you are aware that you are under a lot of, you have very strong emotion at particular time, you have to be aware that as a leader, you know, you may hate somebody in your club, for example, right? That's a very strong emotion. But if you cannot control your emotion, that means your quotient of emotional quotient is low. You just scream at this person and say bad things, and then it's destroyed the harmony of the club, right? So your ability to manage your emotion is very important as a leader. And I don't say this lightly because I work with many organizations. I've seen so many times that the leaders' emotion get better of them, and they do not lead properly. So let's look at what is emotion, what the different type of emotion, impact of emotion, right? So if you look at this picture, you understand, right? If you look at this picture, the whole range, I mean, this is just a picture I picked up from the internet, one of these emoji things, right? Then you can see, take for example, on the right hand side with the love one, that is an emotion, right? Why you suddenly feel very good and all these things, maybe you are together with your loved one and all that, it affects you. And on the left side of the same line as the love, you see angry, right? So you are angry because it affects you, or you're cool, or you are all these things are emotion. This essentially, therefore, emotion are very strong feeling. The whole range of like very strong feelings which we have, right? It can be love, can be hate, can be nonchalant, can be what. And that's why sometimes we use the term, because some people are emotionless. That means they're quite cool, they don't care. It appears to be mostly appearance, maybe, because maybe inside they do feel hot or cold, but outside they give the appearance, right? And that is one. But just accept that emotion is very strong feeling, which we all have. And wait, sorry. And the very strong feeling is affected by our surrounding, our interaction with others. So you say, so what? Well, so what is this? Because emotion has an impact on us. Emotion has an impact on our performance, our behavior, the way we talk. Emotion affects that. Take, for example, okay, since most of you are from Singapore, we have a thing we call kiasu, you know, heard of kiasu or not? Yeah? Banpeng, you know what's kiasu, right? Kiasu is a kind of emotion, though, isn't it? Mai su lang, you have this chip on your shoulder. You must win, right? Now, because if you are affected by the kiasu syndrome, your behavior will be determined by that. A good example, I see that also in Kuching, in Malaysia as well. One of the things which makes me very emotional in the sense that when you're driving a road, right, somebody want to overtake you in a very dangerous situation. And if you have this kiasu attitude, you don't want to let them to overtake you, right? So you can see that you see that emotion of don't want to lose, affect our driving, which may be wrong actually. We should just let him pass. I find in Kuching, I see that quite a few times when I want to do something and then somebody sees me coming and instead of letting me go because I'm coming out from the side road to join the main traffic, they don't want to let you go. They just go ahead so they cannot come out, you see. So the emotion of his kiasu emotion affect his driving. In turns affect me because I get angry, right? And things like that. So emotion has impact. Now, of course, emotion have good impact and bad impact. That's what we're going to look at. Right? Now, so we classify generally speaking, I mean, this is very general, whether we have positive impact on us or negative impact on us. One thing we know, when Daniel government came up with this term, emotional EQ, right? And people used to think, emotion is bad. We must, must control it. All these things. In fact, emotion can create positive impact on you. Right? It does. Take for example, in sports, it's very obvious. In sports, in big event like the Olympic, right? In the Olympic, you got the big event. These people, if they're running at home and they have the crowd of 10,000 cheering them on, and that emotion created in him allow him to perform beyond what he normally could do. We call it PB, personal best. That's why you always see the result, they put PB, right? So a lot of people perform the best in a situation where there's strong emotion, particularly positive emotion. And somehow or other, your strength came from somewhere. You don't know where, all right? It's just there. And I've seen it, we have seen it all the time. And I will just relate to my state, Sarawak. Many years ago, 20, 30 years ago, Sarawak, we used to play in the Malaysian Football League. Sarawak didn't have the best footballers. Our stature were a bit small and we are not that skillful. But that year, we beat every team in Malaysia and we emerged as a champion. And nobody understand why, because they look weaker than the other team. And we coined a term in Sarawak, a term, you can write this down, very good term. It's called ngap sayot. It doesn't mean anything, right? Ngap sayot. Now, we ourselves didn't know what it is, but it sounds good, right? So that we call it the ngap sayot spirit, right? And whenever our team play football, they as if that they have extra wings or extra legs, whatever they have. They just run and they defeat much better team. And because they are high on emotion, right? And I remember that time we are so good that we have a small stadium, so to speak. We have 40,000 seater stadiums were decent size. And in a small town like Kuching, the 40,000 stadium was not big enough to hold all the supporters. So they chant and somehow or other we have 11 Supermen playing in our colors. So emotion has a positive side to it, right? And if you want to talk about in Hokkien, I tend to say in Hokkien, that's when play in a big field. You know, when you are in a big event, your performance is generally speaking much better. I know it because when I took part in speech contests, when I went to America and all these things, and somehow or other I performed very well because of the emotion created by the crowd. But on the other hand, there's an opposite side also. Sometimes emotion can choke you, right? A negative emotion can choke you. Even our own experience, I don't know whether Ban Peng was still in Toastmasters at that time. We used to have very good speakers at one point, and there's this guy, I think it was 1998, and I won't mention his name. He took part in our district contest. So as Ban Peng was saying, our district consists of Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Hong Kong, and all these things. And he was so good, you know. And I was the district governor at that time. He was so good. I said, wow, this guy can actually win the contest in the world. Huh? And so we have so much hope for him. I think maybe that was a mistake because we all said, you're good, and all that kind of thing. And in fact, somebody's radio is on. Somebody's radio is on. Is it okay? All right. You can hear me now? Hello?
Can hear.
Yeah, you can hear the radio now. Okay. So what happened? This chap, we were so impressed with his performance and we're sure he would have a chance to win the world contest. And we allocated 1,000 ringgit, not ringgit, 1,000 US dollars for his fare and all that kind of thing in, I don't know where, somewhere in America he went, all right. And he went, and the conference was in August, but no news, no news, just quiet like this. And I was a bit puzzled. Usually people would announce the news, right? So a few months later, I was running a workshop in KL. Then I saw him. Somebody seems to be able to mess around with my whoever is trying to draw on the image, please don't do it. Anyway, I saw him in this workshop. I said, hey, guy, you went to the world contest in America. I don't know which city it was. And how did you perform? Why don't you share your experience with us? So all of us are speakers and all that we want to. And he just looked at me and sheepishly and looked down. He didn't want to say anything. During the tea break, I asked him, all right, what happened? How did you perform? You know? Then he told me, you know what happened? I went on the stage, all right? I don't know whether you know this story or not, you guys. I went on the stage. I said, ladies and gentlemen, I went blank. I said, ladies and gentlemen, and I could not remember a word, even the title of my speech, which I prepared for months. I just looked and I said it 5 times, ladies and gentlemen, I walked down the steps. See, emotion can also jam you up. So it has a positive and a negative effect. That is something, it's the power of emotion. We must recognize that. And this is a case called the emotional hijack. And this is the worst case scenario. In this case, right, it is, I think it's quoted in Daniel Goleman's book. It's about a professor, super intelligent, and I think he has an IQ of 130 above, right? and he was a professor in the university. One day, he bought a new car, fantastic car. I think it's a new, I can't remember, very expensive car. So proud, and he drove it to the campus. And one of the students came out from the side road and knocked his car a bit. And it was a bit of a dent, you know. And this professor, who's supposed to have the IQ of above 130, which is supposed to be high, genius, approaching genius level, he was so angry that he took the car jack and he smashed the other car. Now, if you are an intelligent person, you know that the scratch may cost only about $100 to repair, $100 to repair. By smashing the other car, you will set him back $10,000 or something like that. Now, he is supposed to be a very clever person. He should be able to solve the problem, right? Work out, if you are an intelligent person, say it's not worth destroying the other car. Now, why? Someone said, why? Why he did that? So Daniel Goleman came up with a term called emotional hijack. And this is what we fear. When our emotion is so strong that it hijacks our IQ, it sabotages our intelligence. That's when you become an absolute moron already at that time. So you just do things which is not good. I want you to reflect for a while now in your own experience. Though not so extreme as emotional hijack, there are many times in our experience, our emotion affect us. And I know I have. Take, for example, you guys are all in the clubs or whatever it is, and sometimes there's somebody in your club, in your executive committee, whom you don't like for whatever reason. You know, you may have a brush with him sometime before that, and you already have this thing about this person. So whenever this person makes some suggestion in the club, instinctively you will shoot it down. Even though if you are an intelligent person as a leader and you're intelligent, say, well, maybe he has some good ideas. But because you don't dislike this person so much that you just cannot handle it. I personally know that because I've been with quite a number of clubs in the past years, and sometimes there are some people whom I really can't stand them, you know. And it's a shame because they may have some good ideas, but the minute they open their mouth, I already close my ears. And I wouldn't mention the name. I think Ban Peng may know. There's one or two guys from your city whom I can't stand, all right? And I wouldn't mention the name, but he's a very obvious person. And he comes up with very good ideas. But because we can't stand him, we really can't stand him. And we just, if we find a way of knocking down his ideas, we do it. You see, so the emotion affects us. As a leader, you make decision, and then because you don't like this person, you have this emotional hatred of this person, you cancel him. I want you to think on your own life. Don't just think it's an academy, it's in real life. I'm now in one of the organization in Kuching, and we're organizing a conference in March, right? And I noticed the name, one of the guys there, Eric, I think he's from my club there. And he knows also that sometimes when we're sitting in meeting, and people always say a lot of things, and there are some people whom somehow or other we don't like, and every time when they open their mouth, we do not listen anymore. Yeah, and this is one of the issues. Right? At this point, also I would introduce a term which you can look up later on. It's called Dunning-Kruger, D-U-N-N-I-G, Dunning-Kruger. And one of the problems when you work you work together with a team is that there are people who are vociferous. They can speak out. They have loud mouth, and they tend to say things which they know a bit but not enough. This is we call it the Dunning-Kruger syndrome, right? And they tend to to throw spanner into any work, and because they know a bit about it. And this kind of people is a pain in the neck because there are kind of a break on any proposal we have, right? So you can have a look at some of these things. This is something which you face. I think we face all the time. They are the loudmouth who know a little bit but not enough, right? And so I have also this emotional block against this kind of people, which is actually wrong for me. I'm trying my best not to do that because they may have some good ideas, you see, but because I don't like them, the minute they say something, I already think it's not good. So to sum up, we're saying that emotion is very strong feeling in you and is ranging from very happy to very sad, right? To be very contented, to very frustrated, right? It a whole range of emotion, and it has an impact on our behavior and action, and that is something which are aware. So as leader, we have to be aware of this. Now look at this emotional impact on you as a leader. Now sometimes you are in a bad mood, you feel bad, and you go to a meeting looking at the lady on my right, actually, the one there like this. Now when you have a leader like this, it has an impact on others as well. So you go into a meeting, you already have very negative feeling, and that is it. But sometimes you have people like on the left side here who comes with a smiling face and a very kind of open behavior, right? And somehow or other it makes the team feel better. So you have to be aware that your emotion impact on you. You may not know it, but it is there, and it impact on you, right? So the question here is this is not a session for us to do that. There is a special workshop called EQ, all right, and how to manage your emotion. It's a very long drawn thing. There are supposed to be certain tricks you have, right? Because I spent my whole life trying to manage my emotion. I have great difficulty. I'm sure all of us have that. One of the obvious suggestion is that when you want to make a decision and you are very emotional at that time, count up to 30 or 20 or 10 before you say something, right? So that you allow yourself to calm down, right? But most of the time when we're in a heat of the emotion, we just shout back, and the impact could be bad on our team. And the challenge for us in our whole life is how to manage our emotion. And as I said, there are specific workshop. It's a long drawn workshop, right? And certain techniques. I'm not sure whether it works or not, but they teach you certain things you can do, right? Emotion. And so it has an impact on you as a leader. Just a minute, yeah? Now the problem is now we're talking specifically about emotion and leadership. If you're a follower, you're just a member of the club, your behavior doesn't really have that much of impact, but it's not as big an impact on the whole club because you're just a unit, right? So we're talking about you as a leader. Therefore, you have to make greater effort to manage your emotion so that you come out like the person on the left, my left, right, your left as well, I presume that man. And when it comes to meeting, you can see that you really quite open to him. But if you come to a meeting with like the lady on the right, immediately there is a barrier there. And my own experience, I attend a lot of AGMs, annual general meeting, where the main decisions of the organization is being made and decided on. And usually they could be very, very contentious and very hot situation, right? And I remember one of our presidents, this many years ago, I really admire him, though I didn't like him as a person, but he has a skill in managing difficult meeting, right? He goes to the meeting and the proposal, let's say by the committee, to do something very, very drastic or very ambitious, going to cost the club a lot of money, right? Cost the club millions or something like that. And obviously they have studied this proposal and they have all the ground covered already. So in many meetings, the leadership, because they have done all the homework, they just kind of bully their way. They say, we know more than you guys, just present to you and then you just accept this, right? But this guy is a very successful entrepreneur as well. And I always remember him because he came to the meeting and they are the power. You know, he was the president of the of the club, and he has a very strong executive committee, and they're all very highly qualified people. They study everything, but they have a very big proposal for the club. This is a recreation club where we to have sent a few million dollars, right? A few million ringgit at that time. I would expect that somebody of his stature, he's already some sort of high-ranking dato or something like that, you know, to bulldoze his way, you know. But he didn't, and that's why I admire him. He came out and he said to us, well, fellow members, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very ambitious project for the club. It's going to be very comprehensive, blah, blah, blah. This thing going to cost a lot of money. However, I can remember his hand. Right? However, this is your club. Right? Even though we have studied this proposal in details, getting accountants, architect, everything to do all detail, which we're going to present to you, the final decision whether we're going to take this step rests with you. And I was thinking, wow, that is great, you know, because they have the whole homework done. There's no argument, you know, and yet he come out with that kind of attitude, and people are endeared to it. So this is something very important, and he was able to kind of control his emotion. Years later, we have similar situation where we have to spend a lot of money on something, right? And the president at that time didn't have that skill because he feel that he is so covered by all the details preparation they have that he need not having to invite you to make the decision. In fact, he didn't say that, but from his tone, we can say that. From his tone, we can feel that he thinks that you are a bunch of people who do not know. I have a bunch of consultants, right? Just present it and you just accept it. So, as a leader, you have to understand this because people sometimes, particularly in Asia, we're not outspoken here. We keep quiet. All right. Even though they disagree with you, they just keep quiet. But they may vote with their feet. That is something which you find, right? So this is something we have to be aware of, the emotion impact, the impact of emotion on you as a leader. This one, of course, I wouldn't go into this, all right? It's just saying that they have an impact on us. So look at this picture. I make it very simple. If you are a leader who has very able to control your emotion and all these things, right? And you make your members feel happy, like the one on the right, you see? Then the organization will proceed, will grow well, because your PR is good. You're able to manage. But if you are the kind of leaders who kind of push people around, which we see a lot of them, and it's very common, right? But your members would have this negative feeling. They may not dare to speak out against you, but they will think of ways to sabotage whatever program you want to put in. This is something which we have to avoid. So when you are a leader, you can see this. Sometimes things doesn't move because people don't speak out, but they keep in their heart. But your emotion, the way you handle yourself has an impact on them. So we have what we call a knock-on effect. Yeah, emotion created by certain situation make you behave in a particular way. Your behavior impact on your members. So it's a knock-on effect. So this is why we find it's very important for you, for us, right, to be able to learn how to manage our emotion. And this is what happened. When you have a good leader who can manage his emotion and all these things, and your members feel great, you know. They just want to do something, right? So this is I think those of you who have worked with organizations, volunteer, you've seen this happen. I don't want to talk about in the corporate world because it's different issue again, you see. In the corporate world, the boss can control you because he pays your salary. So if you don't follow his decision, you get a sack or whatever it is. True leadership comes from working in a place where people work with you voluntarily. And the picture which I have in front of you is the one which we try to achieve in all our clubs or organization, right? So people are enthusiastic about it. Now, this is one, I've seen a lot of this, you know. Some people they can't stand, they don't like the leader, but he is a leader. And when he proposes something, well, you know, they wouldn't dare to speak up, but you can see from the body language like that. And it happens a lot, right? It happens a lot. And that's why we use the term go, you vote with your feet, right, instead of your voice. Right? Now I'm going to wind up here very quickly. Some of you were in Toastmasters before, right? And Agora also has similar thing. When somebody do some proposal or something, some project, we give evaluation, we give feedback, right? And this one I show on the screen here. Can you see it? It is the sandwich method. Do you notice what's unusual about this sandwich? Can someone tell me? Manpeng, you don't say anything because I'm sure you know this thing. Have you noticed this sandwich? Hello, guys. I need you to tell me.
Yes, the meat is on top.
Yeah?
It's right on top.
Yes.
Followed by, instead of
President.
it being in the middle.
Yes. Yes. So that is an analogy which you use when you give feedback to somebody. All right. But you really have to manage your emotion to give it. Somebody give a lousy speech. Right. Excuse me. In Agora, of course, we do a lot of projects. We give speeches and things like that, and then you ask to evaluate. But the guy really did a bad job, right? And you want to help him, right? And so you want to tell him all the bad things he did. But you know very well that he is a human being, therefore is subject to emotion, right? So if I point out every single mistake you make in your presentation, right? Instead of helping him, you jam him up and he may leave your organization forever. You may scare him off and he will never want to do another speech because he lost face and all that kind of thing. Right? So what we do, we design, we have this thing called the special sandwich method. The special sandwich is the meat at the top, the bread at the middle, and then the meat at the end. So when somebody presents something, somebody say, "Hey, say something. Can you give me some feedback on my presentation?" Well, maybe the voice was bad and it's boring. I'll say, "Oh yeah, you're reading from your script and you have no vocal variety, and we do not know what you're talking about," and things like, which is correct maybe. But immediately you kill it off already. So your emotion, you're unable to control your emotion at the disappointment of his speech. Now transfer to you, and then from you, you transfer to him. You can say, that person may say goodbye completely. So what you want to do is this: you give them meat first. Say something nice, right? Of course, just now, just I came on Ban Peng appropriately said, can a leader tell a lie or something like that? Something like this. Is it something like this? So we usually want to make them feel good, and you don't point out all the mistakes, right? And you can say, oh, I know this is your first speech, but I must admire your courage and things like that, and your effort to put it. So you make them feel good. So emotionally, you make them feel good so that the ears are open, the hearts are open to what you're going to say, right? So that's why the meat, you say something nice. Then you come to the tough part, is the bread and butter part, where you point out the mistake, but you again use a language which they can accept. Your teaching, right? So you point out the mistake, but already you put him in a good mood because you get the meat already. Now he eat the bread, which is what he needs to do to improve his performance for the future. Now you don't just leave it like that. You leave it on a high. Again, you go back to the positive side. See, so that they feel, yeah, good, I'm going to do a speech next week or something like this. So this is what we call the sandwich method, and all to do with emotion, right? And I had a lot of argument with people before, where somebody said, "Wow, there's so many mistakes. Why you did never say it?" But it's no point saying something if the person is so hurt by what you say that he won't listen to you anyway. So remember the sandwich method. But of course, there's the other side. Don't go overboard. I mean, there's what we call the whitewash. Don't say, even though it's a lousy speech, say, "Oh, this is the best speech I've heard," blah blah blah, and all this kind of thing. That's total insincerity. And so, in answer to Ban Peng's question, can a leader lie? I suppose there's something there. We can not be so blunt in our truth, and so you don't lie, but you present the negative in such a positive way, which is interesting. You present the negative in a positive way, and they can accept that thing. And some of you may have seen a movie a long time ago, right? I mean, you have to be as old as me to remember this. Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins was this so-called nanny who is kind of a bit mysterious and things like that, and he take care of the kids. And he has a song called "A Spoonful of Sugar." Do you know this? Can somebody end a spoonful of sugar? What does it do? Hello, I need your
Makes
help.
the world go round.
Yes, not the world go round. In Mary Poppins' space, it's not a spoonful of sugar.
Make the medicine go down.
Yes, correctly. You see, spoonful. So medicine is your criticism, right? Your feedback of what they can do, but they don't want to take it. The kids, so you give a spoonful of sugar, make the medicines go down, right? So this is all to do with appreciation of emotion and the impact of emotion on your behavior. So you create a negative emotion in your mentee, so to speak. The impact of them is that they may not want to continue to the pursuit, right? So that's why, as leader, I'm talking to you now as leader. As leader, we have that extra not burden, extra task of managing our emotion. So in some emotion, I sound like Dr. What is his name? Mr. Uncle Roger. Anybody know? You got emotion or something like that. So emotion is all the time there, and it impacts on our behavior, on our action. So we have to be able to manage it properly. Now I want you to watch a video, and then we will discuss it in relation to what we've been talking about right now. Let's see how I do it. I stop share first. Now I want to go to a video. Wait a minute. Can you guys see the video? Hello?
Not
No,
yet,
yet.
sir.
No,
Not
no.
yet.
Yeah. Now I have to go back to you.
Not
How
yet.
do I go back to
you share screen,
yeah, but
then you got to select, I think, sound or something, right? You got to have the
Down
sound.
the bottom left-hand corner,
wait, where is the share screen? Here?
and then select
Yeah.
the file you want, and then go to the right-hand
Oh,
corner
here,
and
yeah, I
share.
got it here. Okay, can you see the video now?
Yes.
We can see
Yes.
it. I don't know if we can hear it.
Yeah, make it full screen. Make the video full screen. Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
hear?
Excellent.
Still,
No, you didn't click the share sound before you load the video. You must do the share sound first.
That's bottom left.
You close it.
Yeah.
You close it first. When you go and do the share screen again.
Right.
Okay, when you click the share screen, you must go to the bottom left side, share sound. Do you see the share sound on the before you click the blue share?
Wait. Now I have can you hear me?
Can?
Yes, we can.
So I'm sharing screen at the bottom, which is a green button, right?
No, you don't
Okay.
share screen yet. You press
Hello?
the green button.
Can
Press
you
the
hear
green
me?
button. Can? You press the green button, then there's a thing pop out. Then you go to the bottom of that thing that pop out. You see share sound.
Doesn't have.
No, when you press share
So
screen,
drag the cursor down to the bottom. Sometimes it hides.
Yeah, I'm saying screen now. Oh, yeah, I got it.
Wrong choice a middle-aged man can make.
yes.
Yep, we can hear.
Now we can hear it.
Excellent. But now we cannot see.
All my money.
Wait.
Believe it or not, I chased off anyone who's ever loved me.
Oh, visual.
And lately,
How about
I
this?
can't even stand.
Yeah, now
Can you see somebody
yes,
running?
Yes.
Okay, we start from beginning.
Start again, yeah.
Okay, now listen to this. Then
3
come
minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. Either we heal as a team, or we're gonna crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around, I see these young faces, and I think, I made every wrong choice a middle-aged man can make. I pissed away all my money, believe it or not. I chased off anyone who's ever loved me. And lately, I can't even stand the face I see in the mirror. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. you find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's gonna win that inch. And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face, I can't make you do it. You gotta look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that inch with you.
Hell yeah.
You're gonna see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're gonna do the same for him. Right? That's a team, gentlemen.
Hell yeah.
And either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals. That's football, guys. That's all it is. Now, what are you gonna do?
Okay, I'm back. All right, let me stop that. Wait a minute. Let me stop this video. Okay. Did you see that? Did you watch it?
Yes.
Hello? Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what was happening there?
Pep talk.
Yeah. What was he trying to do?
He's trying to motivate them, trying to
Yes.
arouse their emotion,
Yes.
trying to make them feel invincible.
Respond.
Yeah. So this is what. Yes. Yes. I think you pick it up here. And it's very interesting. See, usually in the movies, because these are the kind of things which they rehearse and rehearse, it always sounds good. But if you listen to Al Pacino when he speaks in one of those Oscars, he doesn't speak that well. But when you train up, Al Pacino recognized the power of emotion, which we all should recognize. All right. The context of that particular movie was this. Their team in the first half was really beaten, flat. They were really down. They were down. The emotion is down. They are defeated. So he knows that he need to inject this emotion in them, and the emotion will drive them up. So if you listen to the speech, there is a pattern the way the speech is kind of built up. You notice that he started very slow and all this thing down. Then he went up to a crescendo. at the height, they will all get up and then they went crazy and they rush out from the locker room into the stadium and they beat the other team. So Al Pacino recognized the power of emotion, and the speech is timed in such a way that it builds the emotion. Firstly, the first part of the emotion is they were down. They were down. So he didn't shout at them. You see, he tried to make them to show them that he empathized with them. He says that I was a failure. I'm a failure. You know, things like that. So they were down. They were failures. Then he brings them up. So that I think is a video worth watching and understand and internalize it. And it is called on any given Sunday. On any given Sunday, you can get it from YouTube easily, from the internet easily. So, ladies and gentlemen, there we are. Let's one up, because we talk about the importance of EQ, emotion quotient, as a leader. As a leader, all right? And therefore, a leader has to make that extra effort, because we know that emotion is in us all the time, and the circumstances around us affect our emotion, create emotion on us, whether it's positive emotion or negative emotion. And this positive or negative emotion impact on our behavior, our action subsequently. And we have to recognize that. We as leaders, we're human, we are subject to this emotional impact. And we have to be aware that our emotional state will have an impact on our followers and team. So it's an extra effort for us as leaders. As leaders, an extra effort. We have to learn how to manage our emotion. And one day, I suppose you guys can have a workshop on how to manage your emotion, right? And that is a long drawn thing. It's much longer. I'm not sure whether it is easy to do that online, but that is an interesting thing. We must learn to it. But the first step you need to take is you must recognize the importance of emotion, the importance of managing your emotion, the understanding that emotion has impact on our behavior have an impact on our team. That is what we have to learn, you see. Okay, if there's somebody want to share some ideas now, very quickly, so that we can just wrap it up. Back to you, Mampeng. Maybe I can go down to gallery view.
Yeah, gallery view, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, first, of course, everyone, a round of applause to thank Dunstan Chan for the presentation. Okay. I think Silver, you want to ask a question? And
who's that?
Josephine.
I give claps to
Oh,
Dunstan
claps.
for his
Okay.
very great presentation.
Okay, okay. Usually people are afraid to ask the first question. So you can ask the second question after me. Okay, I think this use of emotion is definitely a very important skill or tool for anybody who aspire to be a leader, right? Now the question is really, how do we make people follow us willingly, right? Without coercion, but with the emotion, people will die for something, for the cause, whether it's to save the world or to fight a war or whatever. I think it's not authority forcing them to do it, but the real power is internally. You move them so that they will die for the cause. Question to Dunstan Chan is, how do we make that happen?
How do I make that happen?
Hmm.
Well, firstly, you have to admit that it is important for us to humble ourselves to learn, all right, to learn the skills. But you must have the heart. Remember last meeting, I think it was Grace meeting, I talked about service leadership. Remember? Now, and it boils down to this. When you join an organization, you get elected into the committee and all these things. What's the reason for you to be up there? Now, I know, I mean, this is no exaggeration. I've seen enough people who get into the committee and eventually move up to the top. It's for their own ego, you see? So that the reason is they want to be up there, I'm the boss, you know, and things like that. I mean, don't laugh, it is very common. I've seen a lot of this. And until a few months ago, I was the president of an association of NGOs, 45 of them, 45 NGOs, ranging from the cancer to blood donation to all these things. Each one of them is handled by is run by an NGO in itself, independent. You know? I can see that. Some of the people who are sitting there as president, they just want to be the president. And this is a reality of life, we know that, you see. And so for us, when you ask me the question, whether you want to take the difficult road of improving yourself, right, is whether you have the heart or not. If you join an organization for your own glory, then there's not much I can say, you know, all right? Because your whole aim is to be the president and in a newspaper. I always say this because I see it very often. Like one of the a few organizations, one of organization, many organizations, in fact. Sometimes the president has been there for 20 years, you know, and you hardly see them anything there. They're around. But whenever we have a big press conference where the newspaper take photograph, he will be there, you know, at the top, in the middle, you know, and then guys. And that he lives for that. I mean, I can't do anything, and we can't do anything about that. And that is the first thing. So you have to accept that if it's bad, it's bad. There's nothing you can do, right? But if you really want to go in to contribute to serve the organization, you got to learn different skills. The most obvious one, since you're already in a public speaking or communication club like Agora, right, or Toastmasters or whatever it is, your ability to speak is very important. That's why I want you to see that video of Al Pacino's. You see that thing is a very skillful presentation. It's not one of these presentations which win speech contests, you know, where you impress, but the timing, you know, to create the tension and the emotion of this thing is a skill. It's a very good, is a very well polished skill. In the sense, he didn't do it obviously. All right. If you do it obviously, I've seen a lot of speakers. They're good speakers, platform speakers. They go for competition and they do all kinds of things. But you can see that they do it kind of deliberately and to show how good their voice are, But this guy, he does it in such a way that it's a skill, but subtly, and then he built it and he understands the tempo. You know? So this is something you can learn. Now you ask me, where do you learn it? This is the club where you should be learning it. And I tell you, there's something I'm going to write, sooner or later I will talk about it. What we call knowledge and practice. All right? In a sense that just because you know about public speaking, about communication skill, doesn't mean you can do it. You got to practice. That's why we have Agora or whatever Toastmasters Club, is that we meet regularly to give you the chance to speak. You may not make a perfect speech every time, but as you keep on doing it, you learn it. And that's why I find that sometimes I find in a meeting the same people are speaking, which is a shame. You know, the people who are tongue-tied now, they should speak, because as you practice, you improve. So only one answer for you: learn how to communicate. And you read the book by, what's his name? Forgot. It's called You communicate, not only communicate, you connect. All right? You connect with the audience. They can sense your sincerity. You may not be perfect in terms of your pronunciation and all that, but your connection with them is important. So if you learn that, I think that is halfway down the road to excellence. Thank you. Anybody else? Susan, you was putting up your hand just now.
I was just thinking that when a person wants to motivate and instigate these people to do their best, I find that if they can speak with a lot of conviction,
Yes.
it makes it so believable, and everybody kind of have the same conviction and motivation towards that. I think whoever does that needs to himself believe in it. I think.
Yes. Yes. You're right. I mean, there's the thing what we call the you must believe in what you're saying, right? But what I used to run a communication program for the voluntary organization called From the Heart, from your heart to the hearts, right? So if you don't, I mean, you can be very artificially very good speaker, but you don't believe what you're saying, but you're so good, right? It will show eventually. So for us, we are normal people. We speak from our heart, and we want to touch the heart. So if you remember, from your heart to your heart, and that is the first thing we need to do. And I agree with you. One day maybe we can share some ideas on what they mean by from the heart to the heart. All right, you're
Yes,
right,
of course.
Susan. Now, just before that, is this you got to be careful in terms of actors and actresses. In movies, you see that they're so good, all right, but they don't believe the things they say, but they are trained, you know, that because I know my daughter also into this kind of movie and all these things. You can see the training for communication is very intense, right? So there's a difference between your sense, that's when your true sense, and the skills. Some people are so skillful that they don't believe what they say, but still they can make you believe, right? But we're not like that. I don't think we are, you know. And so I agree with you. From your heart to the hearts. Communication and connect. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah. Actually, Dunstan,
I think Mike put up their hand.
Mike
did you say? No. Okay, Bampeng, sorry.
or Sylvia put up the hand.
Who's that?
Sylvia from Medan.
Me, Sylvia. Are you Dunstan?
Oh, you're up there. Yeah. Hi, Sylvia.
Yes, been a long
All right,
time.
come on, let's
Yes.
go.
Okay. Talking about emotion is really very important as a leader. So just now I interested with what you said that sometimes when we have bad thought about someone, so whatever they said, we have that kind of emotion, let's say to reject or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yes.
how do you cope with that and how to handle that? That's one question. And another one is, as a leader, we are there also to help our teams. Yeah. So if there are two persons, our how to say our very important person in the team, both of them have emotion problems, and turns out that because of some different opinions, they really do not talk to each other anymore. So
I've seen that.
as a leader, I try my best already how to make them talk, but it's still their ego. Their ego is
Yeah.
so huge, yeah. Until now, so I already give them a kind of time to silence up, but cannot to be too long, is it? So what should I do? Please help. Thank you.
What's the first one again, you said?
Just now you talk about we have negative thinking about someone of our team. So whatever they said, we already
Yeah.
that kind of
No,
thoughts.
okay, don't ask me that question because that is a very difficult question. I face the same problems, you see. I have some negative vibe against some people
Yes.
for whatever reason,
Yeah.
and I try to fight very hard. Whenever they say something, I try to not to let that in, but it's a struggle. I cannot give you the answer, but one of the suggestion is this, they call it, you take the person out of the equation.
Take the person.
Let's say he makes some remark, a suggestion, all right?
Okay.
And because he said it and you hate him, all right?
Uh,
Therefore, you already closed your mind to what he suggests. So what you do is you pretend that it's being said by somebody else. That is one of the trick they tell us, take the person out of the equation. I know it's easier said than done. It's very difficult. I can see Susan smiling away already. I mean, I know we all face that. I mean, and it's a constant struggle in our lives, right?
Yeah.
The second thing is,
Yeah. I'm just thinking this is what we call own self bluff own self.
huh? What's that?
Own self bluff own self.
True. And I really don't know how to handle it. I mean, I try lah. I read books about it. I try, but maybe I have succeeded in some ways. But I have to be very careful all the time that sometimes I may say something which makes it worse, So that is your personal challenge, Sylvia. Your whole life. You have to do that. The second one is that two persons can't stand each other.
Yeah, because
How are
I
you going to
see.
mediate? I don't know. It's very difficult. And for example, I know in my past experience with another organization, I know these two persons from the same country. Every time come to the meeting, they tend to kind of challenge and fight each other, So I think they have some basis for them to dislike each other. And their dislike of each other affect our organization, right? And I really do not know, but one of the ways to do it is to say that to put on your ranking hat, you play the father figure kind of a thing, saying that somebody's talking somewhere. So to say that, okay, guys, I mean, please step back on. I mean, that kind of wise man kind of a thing, but I don't know whether it works or not. I give you an example, right? I have come across a lot of that. Once I used to be a lawyer, so I went to my friend's office, office. In his office, his nephew, young engineer who just graduated, worked in a corporation. And then because he's new, he parked his car in a place which is reserved for the seniors, all right? And he keep on putting it there. So somebody put a notice, a handwritten notice on the windscreen saying that, which is quite rude lah. They say that, don't park here or something like that, very rude, And he got so angry. So he went to the lawyer's office. He insists that his cousin, his uncle actually, was my friend, to sue this person, all right? So I can see that he was so angry, and I was trying to pacify him, And I said, look, you just worked there for a month and all this thing. Why do you want to do this? All this, and I don't know whether I succeeded or not. Whether but he was really angry. He was really. So what you're saying about the second thing, the two chicken fighting each other, two cocks fighting each other. I have no answer for you. You just have to try your best.
Yeah, even though I already tried, I said this is New Year, right? So try.
Yeah.
Even I asked them to send its greeting. I mean, start all over again. So forget about the past. Start a new chapter. So this is the very right moment. Try to talk to each other.
Yes.
So still not working because I think they are so emotional. I don't know. But actually, only some small matters. I cannot figure out why it is so emotional. Yeah.
You cannot see because you're not in their shoes. You see,
That's why. That's
Yeah.
why. So I really hope that someone can help me also.
If you really want to solve it, I mean, maybe sometimes you cannot solve it. Just leave it around.
Yes.
there
Yeah.
are this thing called arbitration, you know. All right. So in business, there are a lot of this issue also where there is arbitration. Then one of my friends is specialized in arbitration cases, so he sits there and he do the counseling for them, all right? And that's one
Yeah.
way, but it's very deep. I think let's leave it alone. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's a gone case. All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Anybody else?
Okay, last
Just as
question
they
before we
say,
sign off.
Somebody said something. I can hear.
I
Who's
was
Mike?
just saying, common sense is not very common.
No,
And
not
that's
very.
why we need IE, EQ, and many more, and yet to be invented.
Yeah.
People who are smart don't always get the right way of doing it.
That's the anger management thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The anger management thing, yeah.
Hi,
It's very
Angelina.
proper.
You want to say
Okay.
something, Angel?
Angelina,
It's maybe similar with another. How to handle if a different generation. You say with the video is very inspiring to us. You say about the positive impact, positive impact for the teams. How to handle the very far to gap the generation. For example, it's very young, and that is a very
yeah.
give negative
Hmm.
impact like
Yeah,
give.
yeah. I
So
understand what it is.
delegate, Angela.
Yeah.
Delegate.
Are you saying that you want to, are you consider yourself older than the other person, or are you younger? Cannot hear you. You're muted.
Yes,
Angela.
sometimes we met with the young people.
Oh, okay. You consider you're older than them. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I know Mike was about to say something. Essentially, if you really want to
Teenager,
huh?
especially for teenager, especially
Yeah,
for
yeah. I think if you really want to handle that challenge, I think you really have to understand their life, you know. I mean, sometimes you forget what you were like when you were 14, right? Do you remember how you behaved when you were 14? You don't know. I mean, maybe you remember. So you have to somehow or other be in their shoes, you know, and so that you can empathize with them why they behave in a particular manner. Take, for example, some of the younger ones, they want to go to have coffee with their friends, all right? And they go to these places like Starbucks and all this thing. And the coffee is very expensive. You know, I'm an old person, therefore I'm not used to do that. Even the Starbucks coffee or one of those coffees costs as much as a meal. Huh? And you want to tell them, no, you should not do that. But you have to try and understand why they want to go in the company. You know, they have a different thing, so that you can understand why it's so important for them to do that particular thing. So the only thing I can say, you must have empathy and you must have understanding of the situation. The other issue which is difficult is this: how do you advise a person who's older than you? That's very difficult. All right. So older than you, they say, look, you know, the amount of salt I've taken is more than the rice you have eaten. So don't go and tell me something. You know? And the problem with some of the older people is that they become very arrogant and they know it all, right? And which is a challenge. Luckily, I'm the older person, so I can shut them up. You know, I said, look, you're so old already. We're all old. I mean, you don't have to go and do this. You know, you just have to, as they say in Hokkien, people will say "kwa pua," you know, meaning, yeah, you know, we reach a point where we should not be so. I always use Hokkien. Unfortunately, you see that's the colloquial term. For "nghe chui," you know, "nghe chui" meaning so. I don't know if you understand in Singaporean. "Nghe chui" meaning literally mean hot water, you know. So meaning stubborn. I do come across, but I have the advantage because I'm in the age group. I can just tell them off, you know. I mean, but the answer is you have to try to understand the milieu, the situation they are in of that age. So if you're trying to advise your brother who is 14 years old, so try to imagine what were you like when you were 14 and speak their language. Yeah? That's the only thing you can say, but it's hard. Okay.
Vimana raise a hand. Vimala.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
Where's
I'm Gumala.
yeah. Vimala, yes.
I'm
I
actually
remember.
from Sarawak, and I'm
Pardon?
quite familiar with. I'm from Sarawak, actually.
Yeah. I know who you are, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm quite familiar with Dunstan's articles in the newspapers, actually. I just came across this. That's why I was late. I was, going through the FB, and then I came across this, and I just clicked. I was quite curious, and I kind of regret like not coming across this earlier. But yeah, this
Yeah.
is right. Where teenagers are concerned, can I speak on that? Because I'm
Yes.
dealing between the ages of 13 to 18. Dunstan is right. One, you need to put yourself in their shoes, and actually you need to get down to their level. If you want to advise them,
Yeah.
mustn't be the adult, meaning that you don't tell them what to do, but you
Yeah.
can actually motivate is a thing. You know, you were all talking about motivation and so on. I feel that motivation is just one part of it, because I've been to motivation courses and so on. Yes, I get motivated, but then there's no follow through, no follow ups. And eventually that motivation will kind of,
Yeah.
yes.
Motivational course of Vimala, according to what's his name, the one who died, Zig Ziglar, it lasts only 7 days. After 7 days, of course, you go back. Sorry.
Correct.
Yeah.
So say like teenagers, I think this also applies to us adults. When we motivate, we use the right words, and it depends on the audience who we are actually trying to motivate. That's why sometimes when you prepare, you over prepare.
Yeah.
You really need to find out who are you motivating. If you are asked to go in as a motivator, you need to find out who your audience is.
Yes.
And if say it is a group of people who come there with that feeling or the thought that, okay, I'm going to put that speaker down, So you need to know how to handle that in a nice way, but you need to use the right timing, like what Dunstan mentioned. The right words is very important, especially with teenagers are concerned and people older than us are concerned. We must always think, I'm motivating, but if the person is older than me, yes, he has eaten more salt, he is even more experienced. What I would do is try to bring him into my motivational talk and, give his, his thoughts on it and so on and so forth. But gestures are important. When teenagers are concerned, gestures are important. Sometimes you need to go and tap them. You need to go and touch them, but of course, the right way. Intonation.
Yes.
Motivating without soul is no point. Dunstan mentioned that, if you don't get into their problems, if you don't get into their thoughts, why are they doing what they are doing?
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
you will not be
Vimala,
able to help them.
before I forget, can you take a pencil and write down my phone number so I can send my articles to you? 016
016
888
888
6040.
6040.
Yeah.
Okay, one question, Dunstan, if you all don't mind. Are you in Sarawak? Are you in Kuching?
Yes, I'm in Kuching. I don't see you anymore.
How are you at motivating students? Say maybe I won't touch the Form 5 because they're having exams soon. What about people who are in their Form 4s around 17?
I do special, I do talks for
But it has to
young
be in
people.
BM. Is that okay?
BN, I cannot do it. You have to get somebody else to do it.
Okay. I'll talk to you about that. Anyway, to come to that, to me, I think motivating without soul, motivating without understanding your audience is not going to work out. And follow through and follow ups are important. That once motivation is broke, it's not the end of it. I think we should still go on and find out how did they manage? Did they get motivated enough to be inspired to do what they have been set out to do? Things like
Yeah.
that. That's it.
Okay. What I think is this, there's only one sentence there I think you can pick up, is this, which may be a bit cliche, but you must know your audience.
Exactly.
Whether you're speaking as a platform speaker or you are speaking to a person, you must know them. That's what we're saying, you know, when I was talking to Angelina, is that you're talking to a teenager, you must know them. You must know the circumstances why surrounding them, which makes them behave in a particular manner. And if you talk to older people, same, right? So the takeaway from what Nirvana has said is this: the question, we must know the audience. We really got to know, right? And that's how. In terms of motivating, I mean, take for example, you got to also want to know what they want. You know, they may not be obvious. Like for example, I was asked to give a talk to a corporate company. They have their 50 years anniversary. It's a big company, and I was thinking, how can I talk to the staff to motivate them? These are billion-dollar company, right? So eventually, I came up with one idea. The topic was, there is only one class. There is only one class, first class. So what I was trying to motivate them is that because you are such a big company, you've done so many things. You build roads and bridges, so the engineers are really good. But the mentality sometimes is say that, oh, it's good enough for Sarawak, but it's not world class. You see? So my motivational talk to them is looking at your record. You have the ability to be a world class, but the fact which they have to accept in this world now, there's no longer first class or home class. In this world now, the minute you speak, the minute you do something is out there, you know. So you cannot say, oh, this is good enough for Singapore or Malaysia, but not good enough for America. No. I know very well now when you put something on the website and all this thing, the whole world is reading it. You think that it's good. In Malaysia, we call it the Jago Kampung, right? That's when you think that you are Kampung champion, you're happy. Actually, there's no such thing anymore. I'm afraid, you know, it's gone. So you have to understand your audience, and you have to, when you want to motivate somebody, you have to tell them, you have to share with them that it is possible for them to reach that class, which the whole world is in now. Know your audience is the only thing, sir. I can think. Know the person, right? Okay. Anything else?
Felice, you have not spoken a single word. Felice.
Who's that? Felice.
And Josefina. And
Josefina.
Patrick. Where's Patrick?
Fina, yeah. Talk.
Yeah, Josefina and Patrick. Would you like to say something? How do you react to what these old people are talking the whole night? Yeah, Felice. Say something. Do you agree with what Dunstan Chan said?
How old are you, Phyllis? Phyllis, am I looking the one here?
Yeah.
The one with the glasses? How old are you?
What?
No, you're not 5. I'm sure you're older than that. Is she 5?
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
You are 5 years old? You're kidding me, huh? Are you?
5th grade.
5th grade. Okay.
5th grade.
5th grade is what? What is 5th grade? How old are they?
11 years old? 10 years old?
Yeah.
1 years old.
9.
Yeah.
9 or 10?
9 or 10, yeah.
Yeah, enjoy your life first. Don't go for yeah. Okay.
What about Josefina and Patrick?
Don't know
Patrick,
who's Patrick.
where show your
Yes.
show your video. You are a good speaker. I have not heard your voice for a long time.
Patrick.
Show your video, Patrick. There you are. You're looking as handsome as ever. What have you learned about this word called emotional intelligence?
I think I very much agree with it that emotional intelligence is just as important as the other
Intelligence. Yeah. Yes.
leadership.
Yes.
And I think it is what enables us to use the other intelligence.
Yes, you're right. I think you didn't express, but you're right. That is the message which I actually want to bring across. I didn't have time to do this. We all have intelligence, all right? So we can perform things, but we must be able to perform at the highest level. What stops us from using our full intelligence is the emotion. That's why I give you the example of the professor, the genius professor. I mean, he's so smart. He knows that by the car damage may be only about $10 or $15, and by damaging another car, it costs $10,000. So that's not very clever, But how can somebody so clever do not know? So it's an emotion hijacked. You are right, and you have time to study this in your life. You still have a lot to do. Okay, Ban Peng, are we good?
Okay, thank you everyone, and a special thank you for Dunstan Chan. Yay! Thank you everyone. We'll see you 1 month from now. I'll send out the invitation, and then we'll think of another good topic. Thank you,
Okay.
and bye everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you,
Bye.
Dunstan.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Bang Pang. Thank you.
Thank
See you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye 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 bye.
Bye. God bless.